transition. People are moving. But we're going to keep it going. Don't believe your phones. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Niall Jones. I'm hosting this hour. And here we go. So next up is Nicole's Revenge. Woo! Where's Nicole? Hi. Nicole lives in New York City, and if she's not in New York City, she is visiting. Welcome, Nicole's Revenge.
I wake up at 7 a.m., not today. I've gotten a full 11 hours of sleep, but since I've already done everything I planned on doing in this lifetime, I go back to sleep. I wake up again, and now it's 11 a.m. My skin looks amazing. I've been sleeping sitting up for 3 months now, and it's made all the difference. Eating is pretty much optional at this point, and I had a yogurt earlier, so I have an everything shower and do my makeup. I sit down and scrunch my hair, reflecting on how I've truly done every single thing I ever wanted to accomplish, checked every box, and now it's pretty much just maintenance until I die. I spend the day in bed. I'm bothered by a clip of Kelly Clarkson on set with a bold brow but no mascara. I can't help but feel like things would be a lot better if the long tube connecting my mouth to my asshole wasn't designed for turning food into poop. I think about that tube a lot, how annoying it is. Most people probably don't even think about the tube, but I do. Kissing, rimming, making love, even fingering. I've spent a lot of time on either end of other people's tubes. And the problem with the tube is that it stinks. It goes back to the turning food into shit thing. The tube is full of bacteria, that's how it works. Unless you clean it, it stinks. It's supposed to. Somehow now it's 4 p.m. I'm just sitting here inside my perfect skin. My tall, lean body, burning calories just thinking about how everything has already happened to me, and at this point, anything new that happens is just too much. I'm overflowing with experiences. It's taxing because I can't let go of any of the older experiences in order to make room for the new ones, because if I do, I might lose control and my boobs might turn into big, slippery condoms full of water and slide down the inside of my skin and end up down around my abs, and I would absolutely hate that. I could go for a walk, but I'm pretty much already over New York, so instead I close my eyes. I want to imagine myself on a white sand beach, but I'm distracted by the idea of glistening, tanned muscle hunks roaming the shore and one big, sweaty, bulging Speedo cock brushing up against my oiled shoulder, so I redirect to a grassy meadow full of wildflowers. I sit down, one leg stretched out straight and the other folded, like they do in the movies. I'm surrounded by mountains, so I must be in Sweden or maybe Italy. I try to decide if I'm Timothy Chalamet or Armie Hammer. I used to always be Timothy, but now that I'm basically 35, I'm definitely Armie Hammer, or maybe even the dad. Except I'm here all alone and I have boobs, so I guess I'm none of them, and I kind of hate that. I'm definitely not the third wheel Italian girl because she has dark hair. This all seems like a lot, so I decide to envision myself in a bed, in a big concrete room with no windows, with every man I've ever had sex with. The good ones are to the right, the bad ones are to my left. They're holding little Sephora bags full of cash, big bills. My boobs look just amazing. You would think with this many men in one room it would stink, but instead it smells just like the discontinued 2020 Casa Luna Harmony room spray, a rich, woody blend of bergamot and santal. The men all take turns approaching me in bed and delivering heartfelt apologies, even the good ones, and I can tell they mean it. I count the bills and stuff them in my purse. By now, the men are mingling, chatting and sharing stories about me. A small orgy has broken out in one of the corners of the room. Men who once swore up and down to me that they weren't gay or even bisexual now kiss and jerk each other off shamelessly, totally uninhibited by the mass release of nearly 1,000 men making amends to me all at once. I start to feel a little bit bored and invisible. Somehow this didn't really do it for me, and now I'm just sitting here stressed. The space is no longer for me. I close my eyes and try to picture myself somewhere more peaceful, but I draw a blank. The room is starting to stink now. I take a quick stop back at the beach, but all the beautiful men have left. Disappointed and relieved, I open my eyes in my regular bed and I head out for a smoothie. Thank you.
Revenge. Hi, Pamela Sneed. Pamela Sneed is coming to the stage. Legend. Pamela Sneed is a poet, performer. She will be performing a tribute to Big Mama Thornton at Joe's Pub, January 11th?
16th and 17th.
11th, 16th, and 17th.
All right.
Thank you.
Woo! Come see me at Joe's Pub. Tickets are on sale. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right, this is the year that we're going to get that monster out of the administration, yes? Yes? This is something new. I had a dream the other evening that I ran into everyone I knew in urgent care. One was a friend who sliced off the top of their finger. I saw another friend whose amour was in the same place, and I was annoyed, asking them, why do they keep telling me? There was also an ex from long, long ago, and I have no idea what their particular ailment was. This is a comedy, but it's not. Urgent care is one of those places that's now replaced the emergency room. The emergency room was once a popular place to go with ailments. There was a rule in New York that they could not turn anyone away for lack of payment. In my dream, I had this argument with myself as to whether to go, but I was driven in that I had a cyst. It was turning green, and green indicated infection. It's important to say that at the most turbulent, difficult transitional times of my life, I've developed cysts. Worse when I wasn't in therapy. Worse when I was young and had no way to process my emotions. The first was on my breast in 1986, when I first moved to New York and I was moving from Harlem into an apartment with a man that I didn't love. I think I gave him a different name, my birth name, which was Isla. I didn't tell him I was developing an identity downtown at the new school, a queer one. His name was Steven. I don't need to tell you the graphic details of when the cyst broke, the sheer amount of pus and blood, and I suppose you can only stay with me if you too are captivated by the internet sensation, the pimple popper. The second cyst I developed was on my bum. I couldn't sit down, and I was driven to the Upper East Side to a fancy teaching hospital where a bunch of people in lab coats came to look at my bum. It was so embarrassing, the procedure of draining, then packing the wound with gauze. It was when I was leaving my job at Hetrick Martin, where I worked with queer youth, and I was being scapegoated by the organization. My friend with AIDS drove me to the hospital. He since died of AIDS. He couldn't go in, couldn't stand blood and such. Years later, in 1992, I developed a cyst on my eye when I first performed Imagine Being More Afraid of Freedom Than Slavery at New Eurekan Poets Cafe. I was going through a breakup with a woman in my most lengthy relationship. The relationship would turn out to be fateful for me, almost a death sentence. It's like something that happens in a small town, so silly, but your entire life is defined by it. The cysts throughout my lifetime attach to and form in my most vulnerable areas. The last was on my ovaries in November about 10 years ago. I am currently checking on the status. I suppose this story is much more lengthy than I had intended, and as you can imagine, very difficult to talk about. I saw a new GYN recently, a very sweet Asian woman. She asked about my mother and father. I told her briefly about the abuse. In terms of a life story, it's probably only 1%. Minuscule in compared to what I've endured. But she was like, oh my God, on the verge of tears. I want to protect you. You must have good friends, though. I didn't answer. It's like a high wire act, and to survive, I can't be reminded or stop to look down. Regarding my initial dream, in hindsight, I think about how profound the subconscious is, how it tells you things way before you consciously know. The dream was about trauma, registering my discomfort and fear, but so prophetic and wise. Under Trump, the current regime and circumstances, with the gutting of healthcare, U.S. aid, education, social programs, the violence of ICE, the wars against LGBTQIA people, and more. We are all in need of urgent care. We all need urgent care.
Fuck yes. Thank you, Pamela Sneed. Woo! All right. Anna Božičević. I fucked it up. Božičević? Are you here? Anna came to New York from Croatia a long time ago and wrote New Life from Wave and other books. Welcome to the stage, Anna Božičević.
Hi. My name is Anna Božičević.
There you go.
Your immigrant friends are scared. Every day they dream of working in vast industrial complexes, leaping to get to their floor from a trembling platform above the abyss. Your immigrant friends are scared of wind, of disappearing, how if they did, you'd shrug and say, well, the tulips are still blooming, the spring is still fresh, they must have done the wrong thing. Your immigrant friends are scared of dreaming the wrong thing and never waking up, being caught up on the border of sleep by an obscene fish the size of a man's heart. Your immigrant friends are scared of your forgetting, your thinking someone else must help, and waking in secret to watch their fall with a cup of steaming coffee. Your immigrant friends are afraid to do something, anything, of walking the street and catching the wrong eye, carrying a blank piece of paper that turns into wind in their hand. Your immigrant friends are scared of disappearing, forgotten by their countries, lost in the lining of this one, like luminous lint in a shroud. Your immigrant friends are afraid language won't save them, the soft rain won't save them, erasing every step behind them with a rake won't save them, that you won't save them. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Sorry for destroying your name. I practiced a lot. All right, moving on. How we doing? We're here, yeah? Marathon. All right, Ted Rees is coming to the stage. Ted is most recently the author of Hand Me the Limits from Roof Books and is currently working on a book of poems as well as a YA novel. Ted Rees.
Thank you all. Thanks to the Poetry Project for having me. It's such a pleasure to be here. This is called, from the next book. Oh, and thank you, Niall, for that lovely introduction, your performance earlier. This is called, from a book that's still being tweaked, Endless Summer. Endless summer, the physical basis of a permanent mind sweat, stoplight against dark, green low branches in the high, the strip, the life he would lead from now on, heat ascending his calves, his desperate parking lot, refracted and soaking. The valley of tomorrow spills in through the grit on his lips, the same old explanations again. Endless summer, when he turns under his shame, the window and his glistening fat, the shadow, he thinks, of his skin stayed there forever, classes of wet pooling as the slime of his hand, deleting the boy, himself, the man in the Borders Cafe whistling a tune as walls drip, tat of the memory, the lines gritting the blacktop, bile rising with milkshake in what was always placid exhaust, the choke of unmoving air, the rise in his shorts, flattened pennies on the ballast. Endless summer, he left the men's room confused, warm, salty liquid flowing freely. The process does not take long, so he can't see the process of his desire in the roses. Boy, as in ash, as in cup holders, duffel loaded, cinnamon girl skipping in the Discman. Endless summer, particulates forcing his vision to soften, to foreground the vacancy of this great, screaming either highway side. He must be sorted in the franchise, smelling baloney and thinking the softness of the inner thigh, as it runs into all these comical orders, strategies of control doomed to waste, the play of sun, fastening and unfastening delirium. God's truth, heartbeats, mommy says eyelashes, his crib death, this unruly. Thank you.
Next up, Anselm Berrigan.
I'll wait till everybody finishes leaving. We can't all be gluttons. This is not by me. Can you hear me? Really? This is called Jack Would Speak Through the Imperfect Medium of Alice by Alice Notley. The Jack is Jack Kerouac. So I do hope you understand later that I didn't write this. I know some of you have attention issues. Sorry. I don't like people anymore. Jack would speak. No, I do. It's always fun to insult the audience. Jack would speak through the imperfect medium of Alice. This was written in 1978 or 79, maybe. So I'm an alcoholic Catholic mother lover. Yet there is no Swedish nectar, no fuzzed peach thing, no song sing, but in the word, which I'm starlessly, unreachably faithful, you, pedant and you, politically righteous and you, alive. You think you can peel my sober word apart from my drunken word, my Buddhist word apart from my white sugar Therese word, my word to comrade from my word to my mother. But all my words are one word, my lives one, my last of first wound round in finally fiberless crystalline skein. I began as a drunkard and ended as a child. I began as an ordinary cruel lover and ended as a boy who read radiant newsprint. I began physically embarrassing, bloated, and ended as a perfect black-haired laddie. I began unnaturally subservient to my mother and ended in the crib of her goldenness. I began in a fatal hemorrhage and ended in a tiny love's body, perfect smallest one. But I began in a word and I ended in a word, and I know that word better than any knows me or knows that word, probably, but I only asked to know it. That word is the word when I say me bloated and when I say me manly. It's the word, that word I write perfectly, lovingly, one and one after the other one. But you can only take it when it's that one and not some other one, or you say he lost it, as if I so nothing could ever lose the word. But when there's only one word, when you know them, the words are all only one word, the perfect word. My body, my alcohol, my pain, my death are only the perfect word as I tell it to you. Poor sweet categorizers, listen. Every me I was and wrote were only and all gently that one perfect word.
Thank you. All right. Coming up is Esmé Naumes-Givens. Hi. Am I saying it correctly? Naumes-Givens. Esmé Naumes-Givens is a Brooklyn-based, Chicago-born writer and visual artist and zine maker, producing one all-original zine a month since April 2024. Let's give it up for Esmé.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? Happy New Year. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm going to be reading something called This Mold is Archival. And it's one of my favorites, so I figured I would kick off the year with something, old and comfortable. All right, this is Mold is Archival. Worried about the water pressure at this Holiday Inn. Worried about the broader pressure that could crush me from within. Feeling like I have a cock for feet and it's crowing. They're growing while I'm sowing seeds of sorrow and withholding. Grip like a river snakes, a river takes and takes its time. I am constantly astonishing myself with the ways I have my own banks, my own blanks where I must build the blades of a ship. Flint lurks in the riverbank of what has come to be known as my consciousness. Time to light it up. Reveal a pattern of flame, make stone tools, and start fires, become flowing pattern, just trying to breathe, like man burdened with fire, saddled with just enough oxygen. Patriated, patterned and returned, might feel like you just got home, might feel like the wrong place at the right time, yada yada. There's pain, but you hold on, yada yada. Ex-girlhood suits me. It suits everyone like a latex glove, form-fitting and free, soon to never remember which part of you came first. What comes first? Who comes first? What comes first and what comes after? I'm singing with laughter, whispering with real anguish. What will life be like when everything changes? I've always had a taste for traveling alone, but that kind of thing ranges. Partition off new hives when the bees swarm, arrange a prediction when it feels like you're getting warm, run fast and get your knees torn, get chased around the room. Have you always been this big? Who has made you so small? I'm taking these hoes to the garden. I'm acting like Moses imparting crucial with this crucible. You feeling that? She got engaged and she put it on Snapchat. Become a karate master and a fisherman. Pain is beauty. It's all gonna make a life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Esmé. Take them hoes to the garden. Douglas Rothschild. Woo! Douglas Rothschild writes, on a cold night when the wind blows and the branches of the trees sway, the tapping upon the window's pane draws my eye towards the moon, and I realize that the moon I see may or may not be the same moon as seen by you. Douglas Rothschild. What's that? Might have no way of knowing. Find out.
Douglas Rothschild writes, on a cold night when the wind blows and the branches of the trees sway, tapping upon the window's pane, it draws my eye towards the moon, and I realize that the moon and I see may or may not be the same moon as seen by you.
On a cold night, the wind blows, and the trees and the branches on the trees sway, tapping the window's pane. It draws my eye towards the moon, and I realize that the moon I see may or may not be the same moon as seen by you. I have no way of knowing.
Thank you, Douglas. And other. Slant Rhyme. Slant Rhyme is most often a party girl. She also is a self-learned writer and an anti-disciplinary artist. Slant Rhyme. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'm gonna read two things. I know we're tired, but I wanted to read the first thing I read today by David Anton, the late David Anton, and then something I also wrote recently. It's one of his talking poems. I wanted to talk about something. The situation that comes up when a poet comes to a place to do something that is a poem. I mean, what am I doing coming here to talk poetry? That is, if I thought poetry was a sort of Roman enterprise. If I thought that poetry was a Roman enterprise, I would assume that talking poetry was a sort of reasonable, clear-cut enterprise. I would get to the place and use all of the wonderful rhetorical charm that I could put behind me and offer you poetry. That is, improved talking. Talking would be just talking the way people talked. And poetry would be improved talk. It would be talk that ends kind of funny. It rhymes, say, or it beats out a tune, or it does what it does in some unusual, exotic way. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do it. It's fun walking tightropes. It's fun talking while drinking water. It's fun talking while standing on your head. I propose not to consider poetry putting something on top of talk. I consider it, in this case, coming with the sort of private occasion to a public place. I mean, you're all here and it's a public place and I'm addressing a public situation. And I'm doing what poets have done for a long time. They've talked out of a private sense, sometimes for a private need. But they've talked about it in a rather peculiar context, for anybody to eavesdrop, which is strange that a person would come out here to talk to you, not knowing you not knowing them, and you should care about anything they have to say. And it's exotic. There's something strange about it, except that if we share some aspect of humanness, it may be less exotic. That is, people have been known to walk into a bar, find someone they didn't know, start a conversation with this person, tell them their life story, disappear, and never see them again. One, it's the morning of Mardi Gras, and I need a miracle. Today is my New Year's. It is also the first day of my Saturn return. The unfuckwithable force that just arrives with the passage of time, someday changing the trajectory of your life and vibe forever. I am me, so I'm expecting total chaos. I am still tweaking from last night's carry. Sitting in the passenger seat of a friend's car when I received a text from an unsaved number on Signal. I placed my elbow back onto the armrest, gently reached for the whippet canister, lit a cigarette, and my eyes dart towards the wishing glass. As the car began to move, I grew anxious. If you ever relapse on anything, lean in. The thing about being an addict and not wanting to be an addict is the experience of shame. Shame is another word for fear, a feeling mostly felt by those who are only capable of telling the truth. Even if it's their version, the fog was particular, dense, and sultry this morning. Pussy willowed even. We were driving to view an apartment in the Holy Cross neighborhood that I had found listed on Craigslist free during the night, morning, day. I didn't know what to expect, but I was an unhoused tweaker chasing the night for a reason. However, this morning was different. The streets were emptier. They were filled with an ominous silence. People weren't laughing, the dogs weren't barking, the birds weren't singing, the Spanish moss trees weren't laughing at me. No silver trumpets, no beads, no guns. The fog in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. There were no sounds, no music. But despite its feetlessness, today is Mardi Gras and I need a miracle. We arrived at the discreet location that I received from said unsaved number. Although I realized it was a different address than the one listed in the free category. Judging from the gate out front, I could already discern a ridiculous aura and goofy vulnerability weeping off the Marxist dollhouse. It was toy-like, big and bright pink and orange and yellow. The door was greener than green, with the mailbox that had classic, reflective, American-style vinyl lettering tattooed onto its frenulum. Greed. A word to the wise. A sign from a god written in bold. In any case, it's no mistaken, it's a message. On the porch sat a chest filled with voodoo dolls, puppets, and old red Chinese embroidered envelopes. A ventriloquist, paradise. A hose left running with an orgy of tiny little holes pissing out water. Just don't make it your personality, read a sign hanging across the door at the entrance of the historic Whimsy-Gothic Girl Manor. The sun was running quickly. I hate the sun. Too confrontational and inconvenience. So I rang the doorbell. Opening the door were 3 jovial, cross-dressing clowns wearing normal clothes with USBs wrapped around their neck. 2. The afters is where we go when we don't want to go home. Evidence that last night did in fact happen. It never fails to provide someone with love and someone with hate. It's where we go to share our problems and then become each other's problems. The seemingly important conversations are taking their shape right under the crotch of the couch, and if the light is right, you can detect its general outline. We lose track of time, can no longer tell what we're seeing or entering. The afters is the wrong place to bury your dead. Mardi Gras is supposed to be about celebration, not learning to become a martyr. Temporary joy, enthusiasm. Happy New Year.
Thank you, Slant Rhyme Work. Coming to the stage is Alex Press. Alex Press is a labor reporter whose writing has appeared just about everywhere. Get up for Alex Press.
I can also inform you it is now midnight, so we made it through one day. That's good? You can hear me? Nice. So instead of reading my own work tonight, I decided to get some thoughts on the new year from a few of the city's bike delivery people. So thanks to Antonio, Alejandro, Mamadou Riaj, and Abu Baker. Their words are what I used to compile this poem. And Los Deliveristas Unidos is their organization, and they helped me with translation. So you can find their info at workersjustice.org. And as the daughter of a poet, though not a poet myself, I really want to thank the organizers for inviting me to be a part of this. One time, a customer asked me to leave food inside the trash can because no one would steal it there. I had to take clothes to be washed. Delivering a single pack of chewing gum late at night to a house only 2 blocks away. The customer insisted on contactless delivery, but they kept giving confusing instructions, so when I finally arrived, they asked me to place it on a chair in the driveway. Going up inside those tall buildings and being able to see the whole city below. You can travel just a few blocks and the culture, pace, and atmosphere just suddenly completely change. Once I delivered food to a model at a photography studio. They had me be part of the photo shoot. Somebody invited me to share a meal with them, but I was on duty and I can't be having a meal and working. Once I delivered food during a heavy rainstorm and they gave me an umbrella and they also gave me a hot drink. It's strange being made to wait outside a restaurant in the cold. In 2026, I'd like the companies to give back all the tips they've stolen from us. In 2026, I'd like the companies to remember that during the pandemic, we went out in the streets in fear and delivered everything everyone needed. In 2026, I'd like to see more respect and support for delivery workers. We're human beings, not machines. We have the right to work 40 hours without being unfairly deactivated by corporate algorithms. We are not powerless. Without us, these companies, well, they wouldn't exist. Ask their investors what they would do without us. Are they going to deliver the food to the customers themselves? Happy New Year.
Thank you, Alex. Uma? Where's Uma? Uma, are you here? I don't see. Oh, I see you. Hey, Uma. Uma is a Brooklyn-based artist. I can't see this part. And dancer. What? I did something. Oh, wait. Is the order fucked? Oh. Is that cool? I think I messed up the order. You good? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna start over. I dropped a card, I'm sorry. So it's Uma. It's Uma's time. Uma's coming to the stage. Uma is a Brooklyn-based artist and dancer. You good? Okay. Yay, Uma! Thank you, Uma. Nice to see you dancing. I scrambled up the order accidentally, so I apologize. We're almost there. Everyone's doing great. Yuyi Chen is coming to the stage. Yuyi Chen. Yuyi Chen is a writer from Sichuan, China. They go by Echo.
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me? The academics. I'm beginning to suspect this is all a scam. Being played is antithesis to a certificate of being smart. My favorite uncle left me a text message, "Keep it going, become the king of knowledge," after he went back to a different time zone, giving it up. He wondered if we could stay the moon gently inquired inches he ached, for I was there under broad daylight, imagining power. Your professors must be so strong, he was convinced. I bet they can build houses for all my friends to live in. Enters the poem a prick. Polite wits mind, advanced mind ankle again, argues paradoxical nexus, wears pride like a money hat, rustled papers whose poem address verbed its codes he mimed, a day non-string accident, I am as old as next string crawled, isn't it? Isn't it crawling? My favorite uncle's favorite thing is to be fired. I was told this when a pair of heavy hands were busy pressing on my shoulders of suspects. Stored there were responsibilities, the adult work my uncle and I both skipped. I tried to explain the bleakness of my profession, that not much was waiting for me. The effect of my incapability I had to ruminate still while my favorite uncle started drinking alcohol. He wore a uniform that allowed amicable greetings at 10 a.m. When doors opened, he was there, already drunk. Walking out with me, hands in the bag, our bellies round and sticking out a twin heel. Toy in gravity, my favorite uncle and I giggled. Our walks anticipated a crash with air. If there was, indeed, something worth grabbing onto in the air, then there would be a house paid for already, not by my money, not by my hands. At moon, these nights were freely shaped. I am here to study you. Rolling on a log, I am here to study you. Them loitering patterns, I am here. Study me if you dare the studious. The real estate hanging above, you are to be studied so fast by my breathing of a paper like slime all over my nose. It's noise all over, them logs were rolling like honey bear. Happy New Year, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Last up for this hour, Laura Ortman and Katherine Liberovskaya. White Mountain Apache amplify violinist Laura Ortman carves the earthy sonic deranged as beauty soundscapes alongside a continued PP New Year's Day collaboration with Katherine Liberovskaya's video art installation she creates as music for the eyes. Let's give it up. Thank you. Just one sec. Still light? Can we have light? Please light on the altar. Thank you, Laura and Catherine. What a gorgeous way to be sent out of this hour. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Woo! We did it! So the hour is over, but the hour is not actually the hour, it's some other hour. I don't know what time it is, but 1 hour, whatever. Beautiful. It's an honor to be your host for this hour. I'm about to turn over the duties to Heather Glennis. Heather Glennis is a performer, poet, dilettante, transsexual, and program assistant at the Poetry Project, where she helps keep the proverbial ship running by coordinating volunteers, printing programs, feeding buckets of fish heads to the forgotten feral Berrigan boy we keep locked in the sound closet. Heather's coming up, and I wish you all a gorgeous new year and a sort of, I don't know, a voluptuous capacity for all of the beauty and rage and gentleness we'll need to get to this year and the years to come. It's been an honor to be your host. Thank you, Poetry Project, for the invitation. Take care. Love.